Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday night. Thank you so much for being with us on behalf of First Amendment Sports. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
Man, missing T-Bird down there in the end, but you know what? I think we're going to be able to have a good time talking about a little bit of some fun stuff that happened yesterday, bud. Not a bad day
Gotta fix it
for the burgundy and gold. You don't need muff cam over there. You're good.
It is a special occasion on a number of fronts, but how about at the top of the show? Same back to you, Ken Harris. A little Nasta to one of our very, very good friends. Happy 50th, AGH.
The big 5-0 for the big guy, man. Appreciate your fanship, your friendship, and hope you had a great day in Wales today. I understand you took a little trip up to Belfast and enjoyed yourself this afternoon, a little dinner with friends at a local spot in Derry. And you know what? It's pretty cool to say that about a friend of yours. You know what I mean?
A little... I don't know, what can I say? 50 years is a hell of a ride, and good congratulations on that alone. And we look forward to 50 more.
Yeah, do another 50, brother.
Nasda. I'll take another one for that. Don't mind my golf tan, my farmer's tan, my cutting the grass tan. That's just I never noticed it until it was sitting next to you, and you're like completely.
Oh, I have. I mean, come on. Wow, it's not as bad. Oh, it's there. Hold on.
I'm wearing a dark shirt.
See? I mean, that's a walker. That's a walker's tan.
There you go. So I just wanted my kind of like opening thought of the night, and of course we're missing T, and we're also missing Rhett tonight. We're gonna get T back next week. But my top of the show thought has been this, and I've been thinking about it all day, using it all day long, and that is, we all understand it's preseason. We're not celebrating winning a preseason game. We're not.
No.
I work with a lot of Baltimore fans, and they're like blah 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 blah. I'm like, you know what? I have to hear about the streak for 7 years. Then you got to hear about when it ends. All right, first and foremost. So don't gaslight me and tell me it's not a big deal, and then all of a sudden you're like, you guys, you're just celebrating preseason win. When like football is a game, and it's supposed to be fun. And it is for the most part. But when you've had the fun sucked out of that experience for 20 years or the better part of 20 years, then it sucks. And so, there's some fun kind of seeping back into the experience for us of this game. And that was what was, to me, all about last night. At FedEx, the Maryland State, battle. It was fun. It was just fun. And that has been missing.
And here's what I liken it to, and I know I've dealt with the same conversations today. Where no one's saying all this. This is what the national media. This was an outsiders think. Oh, Snyder's gone. Now they think they're the greatest. Just shut up and let us have some fun for a second. Leave us the freaking alone, dude. When you're watching your family or friends and you're down at the park and it starts getting chippy, and the other dudes are good and they've been playing against each other all week, and this could be honestly some hoops run at the local playground. When the juices get flowing, and you can tell it's serious, and when Harbaugh's out there trying to preserve the streak specifically,
absolutely,
calling the game that way, and then all of a sudden we're calling a quick timeout, and we're fighting back, and all of a sudden you can tell the chippiness of the entire week, the chippiness of the day, the way we fought back, the way we hung in, the way Jake Fromm played ball, and then put our. Reaching back to his old Babe Laufenberg. How about this? That was just fun as shit to watch. I enjoyed every second of it. And what I thought was cool, my wife, my son, and my daughter, very rarely are the four of us hanging around watching a preseason game in the final seconds. Like, kind of pumped up. You know why? Those dudes were getting after it, and both teams wanted to win. And I wanted us to win because of that. I was sick and tired of not being the team that did it and finished.
Or that just went your way. Yeah, just like have something go your way.
Yeah, that it looked like he pulled the shit out of that kick, and it adjusted itself. He plays a little power fade, and
to the left,
and it hung on and went right down the pipe. And I went to bed with a big ass smile on my face. Is that so wrong?
No.
Is that so wrong, Baltimore fans? You and your 24 game preseason streak. There's nothing worse than that.
And I will, to their credit, it's not something like they go around beating their chests about, because you shouldn't, because it doesn't matter. But like the weird thing about it is, like, we've watched a million preseason games. I know I have, I know you have. Like, they just traditionally, there's no rhyme or reason to the outcome for almost any time, unless it's like the old school number 3 game where you play like your starters into the second half, and it, and it's like the Chiefs versus the Colts or whatever in the old days, and it was just gonna be a thrashing by the starters, and there's no coming back from that. But like so many times a preseason, I mean, it's 45 through 90 playing against each other for a half or so, and there's you coach Pee-wee football. It's obviously different, but in some ways it's kind of not. I mean, these are a lot of guys who will not be playing professional football in a month from now, and they were getting after it, and they both wanted to win the game.
Yeah, 180 guys on the field, and I always talk about that in preseason. But I will say, I've talked a little trash about the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stop watching last night, and a million people felt that way, and it's why it was cool to watch. We were competitive. It's these little things that happen are all a part of the process, and you can tell right now we're built a little bit different. You know what I mean? We responded to a bit of a challenge, and I know it's the preseason, but the guys that were out there understood it. Guys fighting for their jobs understood it, and it was just cool to be a part of, and to see a guy like Joey Slide go out there. Great situation for him to be put in.
Oh,
tremendous
exactly
spot.
What we want.
Exactly.
The ball's good from 65.
Damn right, and he got better last night, and that's a big deal for us. So the guys that we require to get better, and we need to be at the top of their game heading into the season, that were out there playing, they got better in a game like that because a high tide raises all ships. We say that all the time. That was one of the better played on both sides preseason games we've seen in a very long time.
It was the national game. Everyone was watching. I know people are, we're talking about it our way because it was our teams in Maryland here. But if we were treated to that game by two out of market teams, it means the only game we had. We would have watched it till the end. It was fun. The penalties weren't outrageous like a lot of preseason games are at all. And like to your point about the end about getting after it. I mean, the cover zero, all out blitzes at the end, and then for Jake Fromm just trying to get some yards both times. I mean,
you're going to get hit. Plays.
You're going to get hit.
He gave his guys a chance to go up and win that game with a chippy, and he did the right thing. He got rid of the ball quick enough. I was thrilled with that guy. He's come a long way. You know what? He's a solid-ass number 3 guy, and we'll get into the other stuff, but he looked like the second best quarterback on our team last night.
He did. And the fact that I think we're keeping 3. I think we're keeping 3.
I think we have to.
And you will let those, if Fromm and Brissett are pushing each other all year, it's great for us. I got a series of graphics, pictorial graphics to throw up here, and we'll work through them to talk about this game.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous about pictorial graphics in this basement.
Well, the lighting is right for a pictorial presentation.
And there's no one else here, and the door's locked. If I blink 4 times.
The soundproofing has been tested, and it works to perfection. Right. NES Tecmo, Greg Martin, manner of speaking, AGH, Ken Harris. Again, appreciate you guys. If you are just tuning in for the first time and you got a free hand, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It's easy. It's free. We appreciate it. No, don't say what you're thinking. We have, if you see something you like, thumbs up. If you hear something you like, thumbs up. We appreciate it. Looking at this game from the positive angle first. We're going to go with positives. We're going to kind of do the same thing we did last week. We're going to name one thing. Okay. We could take turns. So we could take turns, and if I have the picture to go with it, we'll throw it up there. But we can't really talk about this game. Let's just go straight to our pictorial background. I mean, before we get into anything else, we just have to throw this up there. I mean, all right, so this happened. It was on national TV. It was Josh Harris, almost Joe Namath style on ESPN. I don't know if he was drunk. I don't think so. Listen, I think he's a little awkward, an awkward dude. We all know like a guy who's just a little bit awkward, but like a super good guy. Like he's not so awkward that you don't want to talk to him. He's just so awkward. I think so awkward that it's like not the easiest of conversations. I think that's there.
Yeah, I think the awkwardness is prevalent, and obviously when you're 58 years old and you're purchasing things for $6.05 million, it takes a bit of a different cat, but. First of all, he did not know what to do with his hands for the previous minute or so.
Like Ricky Bobby. I don't know.
And I don't know if you had the previous frame, but I think Joe Buck has got to take some responsibility here.
He was up here.
Like, Ken, if I'm talking the whole time and I'm like, furthermore,
I'm just going there.
He put it there.
Yes,
he was
doing this the whole time.
Like, just so tempting. It was like baiting.
It was the way he was asking for it, the way he was dressed and how he was acting. He was clearly asking for it, a handshake, that is. And, all right, so Can
I just say one thing, though?
Let's put it back
Why
up
does
here.
Josh Harris, I don't know a man who, and I do believe now, after much studying, I don't think he's obviously a 58-year-old like drunk. We've seen him
No.
times. Everyone, but I don't know another person on earth who has ever been on television who I thought was drunk that wasn't.
Joe Namath.
Well, he was hammered.
Oh yeah, sorry. If it's 100% accurate diagnosis is what you're saying. If you see it, you know it. I think that was the joke. He wasn't obviously so inebriated that he couldn't hold a conversation, but it was an awkward conversation.
He's a fidgeter.
He's a fidgeter, but he was excited and happy,
course.
That part of it like totally hit home at our house.
Yeah,
because it was kind of like you're like, all right, he's like, let's go, and was talking to me, about Sam Howell and how excited. At the end of the day, he was in. I thought it was an endearing, awkwardness. And if he had pulled a few frosty beverages back, it would make me even happier. It was first game for him of any kind at FedEx Field. The stadium was full. The tailgate, I'm sure there was plenty of tailgating going on up there. He strikes me so far. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he took a gander out, into one of those lots and hit a tailgate up. I haven't heard that story, but
yeah, he's thirsty as shit, dude.
Yes. I don't know that I've seen him in a suit and tie. I
like it.
I love it, and he's got that old school like '80s windbreaker kind of jacket look, and with the unbuttoned kind of moppy. Golf shirt. So listen, he hasn't done zero at this point in time to turn me off in any way whatsoever.
And I like it. He
Yes.
he is who he is. He wasn't afraid to be up there, and let's just all know this. This man is absolutely, he's authentic. Oh, dude, he was up there excited. He was.
Yep.
I do appreciate it. And if he does have a tad bit of social anxiousness, and that's fine. There's many people that do. He is certainly following up the right cat for us to embrace this man and his authentic personality, because we haven't had authenticism around here since we can remember. So it's cool to have him on board.
Let's go. Let's do, because I brought this for you. So,
yeah, there you go. Look, he's actually smiling and engaging with the fan base. Typically, we'd be in a half Nelson with the other hand reaching into our wallet at this particular moment.
It's a left. Obviously, he's reaching out a left hand. He's not shaking someone's hand, but he's making hand-to-hand combat. He's making eye contact. He is clearly, and look, his fingers are kind of out wide. It's kind of like not as traditional, like his hand slap. I don't know. He just does it his way. And once again, 2 buttons unbuttoned on the golf shirt, untucked. With some khakis. I mean, that is a guy who is totally comfortable with everything he's got going on, and why shouldn't he? He's the proud new owner of a new team in what we're calling, and I believe I'm giving you credit for this, but I'm saying it a lot. The year 1 AD in Washington.
I cannot take credit for that, can I? After Dan?
After Dan.
All right, well then it was late.
Okay,
late.
We were talking about it. I don't know how it came out, but it's either way. It's a basement production. The year of our Lord 1 AD. It's 1 AD. We're in 1 AD. We got a whole new situation, and we're gonna have some 1 AD. I didn't have time to make some 1 AD graphics, but we're gonna do some 1 AD graphics for sure. All right, so could not talk about.
No, you see a hand.
Do you like that?
You see a hand, you shake a hand.
You see a hand, you shake a hand. Oh, and he was it was like one of those Nintendo games where like the radar was up and a hand came in and he was just firing away. It didn't matter, and you could Troy Aikman. He's keeping his hands away.
He was
doing
Joe
the right
Buck
thing.
was all willy-nilly with his hands.
He was
got to keep an eye on that guy.
Putting him out there. Maybe he was.
You should definitely keep an eye on Joe Buck, especially if you've had a couple cocktails, because
All right, so I loved that was also a thing. Were you watching afterwards, like when SVP did SportsCenter, which I didn't think was a great show necessarily. I don't always watch it, but he did his post game interview with Troy and Joe from the booth, and as they were going away, he said something about I didn't get a handshake. He made a handshake comment.
He did. He knew it. He said we're in touch with everything going on. He was on Twitter all night about everything else, and he threw that one in the end. I did catch that part.
I didn't get a handshake from Cleaner. All right, so bright spots. Let's go. How about all right, there's our guy doing some serious hand-to-hand shaking. All right, so let's start slow. All right, let's start slow, and let's do this guy. First of all, we'll get a little top heavy. Old EO, we'll bring him down. And we'll go with, where are we at? My bad, yo. Bam. Wasn't in very long. Took a lot of random heat from I don't know, armchair Twitterers. And
He gave up one reception for 9 yards, and everyone done took a shit in their pants.
everyone's like, what's going on?
Why?
For the second week in a row, a tackle for loss that was meaningful from a guy that everyone has been talking about how his physicality. I'm like, let's give it a rest.
I think what we saw about his physicality is the ability to get to an angle, and at this level, it's all about that ability to have 1 degree of separation. And we saw him slither his wiry ass frame in between 2 linemen.
It was like 600 pounds of linemen that he got between.
And not one of them
laid a finger.
Came close to him.
Did you see the right tackle's reaction to him? Because Forbes did a delay. He kind of got there, quick delay, and then he didn't even like race through it. He just kind of slid through it. And the left tackle, he didn't even throw his hand. He had no chance.
I know.
And he knew it. And he kind of was like, oh.
That's what the bubble said. Slim Pickens, why are you so crafty?
He just looked at him like, oh.
He slid through and made a physical tackle below the belt that stuffed in a huge time. But that ability to find that crease, that ability to approach the ball at that angle and play at that speed, this is a different dude.
Yeah, and then make the stop for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Again, talk about meaningful, positive minutes in a preseason game. All right, how about this guy? This is a deep cut, and we'll go. But this one, I think he's making a little bit of a name for himself. I like the draft pick because the draft pick photo of him, 7th round draft pick, 232 guys picked ahead of him, whereas number 48 for the Burgundy and Gold. They said it last night. We've been saying it the whole time. Everyone's like project. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he has some technique, and he puts guys on the ground.
Yeah, we brought that project to Baltimore, and he was getting run with the ones all throughout the inter-squad practice that we had with him all week long. It kept being every publication was saying, well, here's Andre Jones again, getting more reps with the ones versus the ones. This dude is a 1 as far as athleticism, explosion. He's played in a 2-point stance his entire career. You saw him out there in the stance, and you can tell there's a bit of a hesitation of getting off the ball right away from that awkward stance. But once he gets his body moving, he's a blur. Yep. He is an absolute werewolf off the edge, and we thought it'd be a project and a guy that comes in to just be a specific pass rusher. And now they might be thinking he might be a little bit more than that, and that's thrilling from your 7th round draft choice.
I'm excited because again, we've been in a rebuilding mode. We're still in a rebuilding mode, and you need to get young, inexpensive when you can manage it. Talent, athleticism, and whether he was in the 2nd round or the 7th round, the beauty of it is we're not talking about a guy who's going to necessarily impact our decisions on guys like Montez Sweat and Chase Young, because he was a 7th round pick. Everybody, he could be on our roster for a while without us having to do anything, and you have to have more than 4 guys.
This smells
so
like
good.
Bobby Beathard type shit. This smells like a guy down there in the Cajun Bayou who is playing in a 2-point stance in a different position, and then someone caught him on tape because pick 233. That means 232 other opportunities, including us 6 times, had a crack at him. But then, does he do what we need him to do and fit our defense properly? And apparently, well, the answer is yes.
So far, yeah. Here's a question from the board. Quan Martin's game redeemed with the interception, ? Has not looked good in my humble opinion from E.O. Anderson. Well, he's Quan Martin. Again, we talk about it after we talk about it. It's not that he hasn't looked good. He's just looked like a rookie who's trying to be 100% athletic and physical and hasn't yet worked in the innate knowledge of the game and the in-between stuff because he was beaten technically on the play.
He got beat and decent recovery.
Yeah.
He's been getting beat a lot, and that's what does happen to a rookie. And it's fair to say he looks like a rookie. It's fair to say he doesn't look good right now. It's also fair to say this is what happens to certain guys, and when it clicks, it clicks. And right now, he is playing a position that you're going up against some freaking dudes, and it's going to be an adjustment period. What I do love about Quan Martin is he's a ball hawk, and he's tough as shit. So, yes, he got beat. Yes, he recovered, and that was a heck of a play. It was a crazy-ass play.
57 yards on the return
but
is huge.
You can see what he's got to offer.
Yep.
After he got beat, from that point forward, because you're going to get beat in this league, and especially when you're a rookie and you're guarding guys in the slot that are going to be a step up. You're going to get beat, but the way he recovered that next play, I think that's going to be a big boost for him. And the guys on the sidelines reacted properly to a guy they know has been scuffling. Yep. He's been struggling, but he's been putting in the work. And you know when a guy does that with that type of athleticism, he will get there. The timetable might be different than we all hope for. But with rookie defensive backs in this league, there's going to be a learning curve going up against arguably the greatest athletes on planet Earth.
Yep.
So let's be a little patient with him. We can see what type of ball hawk and what type of football skills he has post getting beat and his recovery. But I still wasn't thrilled about it, and he has definitely been a question mark on my list. Not his physicality and not his work ethic, though. So let's just be patient with this guy and see what happens.
Well, with Danny Johnson being dinged up from his WWF battle with Mark Andrews, and and with Wild Goose just not looking that great, Quan Martin may be in position to get minutes sooner rather than later, and he had to get that time yesterday.
Wild Goose looked lost.
It didn't look good.
No.
And he looked better. He looked better last year when he came in for us.
And you know what? He's better than that. But we're out there putting ourselves in coverages that we want to see who's getting exposed. This is the preseason. They'll do a better job of disguising old Wild Goose if he does have to play throughout the course of the season. But I think that's what he is. He's a 7th or 8th cornerback on a good football team.
I mean, we need Quan Martin to be up higher than him on the depth chart.
No doubt about it. And he'll get there, and he'll have every opportunity to get there too.
All right, little detour with EO on Quan, because I didn't put him in my, even though it was a bright spot. I love the footwork, the return, all of it really worked. Let's just go straight here. I mean, we just have to. Just once again, all right, how about this as an opening comment on Sam? We can say a billion things about him. The difference between the throws. We'd always talk about what it looks like when a guy spins the ball. And it looks different for almost everyone. The really good ones have just something weird and unique and odd about what happens, and it's magical. Last year, when the ball left Taylor Heineke's hands, it left the screen on TV. It went above and beyond the top of the screen, and you had no idea if it was going to land in your guy's hands or someone else's hands. It seemed like it kind of was on a journey, and Taylor Heineke was just hoping for the best. But he was a gifted passer. The ball got where it was supposed to go. It's not that way with Sam Howell. When he throws the ball, it almost looks like he's throwing it into the ground sometimes because of the camera angle. He has that wind up and go, and then all of a sudden you get a field level shot of it, and he just threw a fastball into Terry McLaurin's gut. It's a different looking ball than we're used to, even different than Carson Wentz, who had a cannon. Certainly different than Kirk Cousins. It's certainly different than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
His release is lightning quick. And his arm has got plenty of juice, and it was fun as hell to watch. I don't give a damn who we were playing against, what type of season it was. This dude obviously has a comportment. He's the first guy to say, I gave up those 2 sacks. That was all on me. I got to get better at that. Like, he's not satisfied, but I'm telling you right now, I've said it all summer. The one thing we loved about him coming out of college, and one thing we've heard and witnessed last night, he plays on time. When that back foot hits, that ball is out. Except for those 2 times. He'll get there. He will get there. I'm telling you right now, I think we all got to see what that thing looks like coming off his hand, how quick it gets there, and the accuracy in the windows. Yes. And this offense is built for him. Let's get rid of that thing quick as hell. We've had guys that Carson Wentz hang on to the ball forever, and Taylor Heineke didn't hang on forever, but like you said, sometimes it took forever to get there. That's not the case with this dude. He is a tough-ass point guard running a high-speed offense, I think, that is barely getting started. But by midseason, this thing gets clicking. And we're going to be rolling, like I said. Last night, I know we were playing against whoever we were playing against, second team. Don't give a shit.
Nope.
Dude plays on time. He's got all the tools. Can't wait to see him progress. It's going to be so much fun watching 14 this year.
There's a number of ways to put a ball in a spot. A professional quarterback in this league can accomplish it a number of ways. Taylor Heineke accomplished it. He put the ball on a spot. It had to be done differently. Sam Howell can deliver a ball at the spot in a way that's better.
And like you said, it looked like he was throwing it into the ground.
Yes.
He throws the ball nose down in traffic, and that's what you want.
That's what you want.
We've had guys in the past that put that ball, when that nose is up or just on a level arc, that ball gets popped up into a secondary filled with freak athletes.
Yeah.
It usually comes down in the hands of the wrong team.
You can see it right here. You can see his pointer finger. It's like that Terry Bradshaw up finger. Obviously, the hand up is perfect. I like
The guide hands.
Shoulders are level. His hips are getting ready to swivel. Again, the whole motion, the physics of it, the technique.
From the shoulder to the elbow, right there,
Yes.
perfectly parallel to the ground.
Yes,
this is what's up.
I had all these pictures to choose from, and
yes.
I went with this because I think that the propensity for some people is to look at this guy and watch the way he throws, especially when you don't have the right angle to watch. And I've heard people say like it's too long of a throwing motion and blah blah blah. And he's reaching back like Byron Leftwich or Blake Bortles, and I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Watch what he actually does. Like he's destroying the line between himself and where he's throwing it to.
His confidence, his presence in the pocket, and the way he plays on time, and his footwork has obviously improved. Really enjoyed watching him play last night. We're gonna have some fun. He's gonna have his moments. This guy's gonna have his moments. He started once in this league, but boy, is the upside there. The upside at 1 million is there, and there's the upside.
There's Martha. Well, because I wanted to throw.
Boing.
If we're gonna talk about where are we talking about here? If we're gonna talk about oh shoot.
Team moms,
not the depth chart. I thought for sure I had.
Well, there's the depth chart.
Oh well, you know what? We had it. It's the Voltron picture. I just thought it would be a good thing to have Voltron up there because we talked about it last week. The offensive line, they played freaking great. They were awesome. They we don't even need to talk names. Like they picked up blitzes. They gave Sam Howell time. Give Sam Howell credit for playing in the pocket, stepping up into it, and getting the ball out and saving his guys from taking sacks. And he said the sacks were on him. The offensive line played great.
They did. And one of those sacks, he came back and made a play and got a first down in the next snap, so he didn't care. You make up for that. You put that in your rear view. Making plays outside of the pocket off schedule and running tough. He's got everything in one package that we haven't had around here. I'm not saying he's all everything. I'm saying his style of ball. He transcends. He is exactly why. It kind of made sense to me last night. You're like, Bieniemy, did he really have to come here? If you really thought about it all this offseason, like, was he really forced to have to go somewhere and do this and you know what? When he made this choice, I'm telling you right and goddamn now. But we didn't think of it. We thought that's what you're supposed to say. I think what we learned last night is this guy's tailor-made for this type of offense, and these two guys could do some damage.
This guy had a good night helping us out in a spot that we weren't feeling that great about. I just pulled this pick down. I don't know. There's just not a lot of great Cole Turner shots. But Cole Turner, he caught the ball. He had that big time third down catch in traffic. We need tight ends who can catch in this offense. Clearly, we're going to have it. Logan Thomas, hopefully, is getting healthy. Cole Turner, I think, eased at least a little bit of some people's minds last night.
Well, you're damn right, because last year he didn't do shit. Let's just be honest. He was banged up all year. I think he had 3 catches on the year. We were really hoping for some upside out of that guy to come in and help us out, especially with Logan banged up. Him being banged up didn't help, but hey, listen, man, in college, he led the nation in receiving and touchdowns from the tight end position. His coach even said, they knew we were going to him in the red zone. We went to him in the red zone, and he produced in the red zone. That's the type of cat I wanted, and last year we didn't get one sniff of it. Very cool to see him last night being productive within the framework of this offense.
I loved it. We don't even have to even talk about Bates or Hodges or anything like that because hopefully Thomas can be out there. But good on Cole Turner for showing up and having a good night at, again, a position that we need. Let's just stay on offense. Go with this guy. And we're gonna apparently it's an 828 by 55 for all you photography folks out there. I didn't know that was on there. Target, like magnet, and if he's gonna be that guy, I'm kind of excited. They threw the ball to him a bunch.
See those hands? See those hands?
Oh yeah.
Do you know how difficult it is to run a 45-degree angle away from the backfield into a blind spot on the field, catch the ball, and get upfield at that size? I love it. He did it at Alabama. He's going to do it a ton here. It's going to be a big part of our offense.
Low tread still, really low tread.
Completely. You come out of Alabama, there's like 7 dudes, but although he did get some work there, but completely low tread. Doesn't he just look like right now I'm facing the TV and I'm about to dive at his ankles or possibly Ole. Business decision. Get out of the way and grab my hammy. That is not someone you want to tackle. That is not someone you want to tackle.
No, he falls forward. I don't have a picture of Gibson. Gibson ran hard last night too. I like that. But Brian Robinson is the guy. And in this offense, there's going to be a lot of targets for the person who plays Brian Robinson's position. It's going to be Brian Robinson, as it turns out for us. But in this offense, there's just a ton of targets. And what can that player do with the targets? Well, he can light people up. And Eric Bieniemy, we watched
and wear you down.
Yes.
Tackle that dude all day.
He comes back. I mean, Eric Bieniemy is going to find a way to get a guy like Gibson 10 to 15 looks somehow, some way over the course of a game. But that's going to happen in the midst of getting pounded by Brian Robinson in the first quarter, and if things are going anywhere close to the way we want them, getting pounded by Brian Robinson in the second half. I mean, and he is absolute monster. I'm excited about it. We thought we had that kind of player. We thought we did when Antonio Gibson was drafted. Now, not as big and physical, necessarily as Brian Robinson.
He was
but,
more, yeah.
But a target hog.
More of a hybrid guy that would get touches.
Yes. Just feed him. Throw it to him, hand it off to him all day long. And he has taken the load a number of times, but it's not necessarily the guy. He's not the guy that Brian Robinson is.
No. And, he was fourth in the NFL in carries 2 seasons ago, but that was by accident, I would imagine. And that was Scott Turner he was running out of stuff to do. And to be fair, he was running out of players to give the ball to. And Gibson is a dynamic athlete. So, but I think it is Brian Robinson's role now, and we'll see. I don't know where Gibson fits in and what type of hybrid guy him and Curtis Samuel turn out to be. But, you hear about all these multiple use guys. He's not a multiple use guy. He's a dude, just get him the damn ball in the backfield and then chuck it to him outside of it every now and then. Let him do work in between the tackles, and we're going to be all right.
It's a 10-yard fight. Like football, that's all it is. Except in situational moments. But a 10-yard fight, and like not every team has a guy that's going to get that can get you 10 yards in 3 plays. And we came out last night. We gave him the ball for the first 3 plays, 2 handoffs, I believe, in a screen.
Yep. And
he got us a first down. I think that there's not 32 guys in the league that offensive coordinators would have a consensus of, if you give it to this guy 3 straight times, he's going to beat the opposing defense, because obviously opposing defenses are trying to stop that guy. Brian Robinson, I think, is one of those guys. Like, if you say, what, our plan is to give him 3 straight plays, I have a hard time believing we're not getting 10 yards in those 3 plays.
Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope so.
I love him.
Let's see. Let's go to a little bit of a deeper cut, because we had a question on the board. Where is it? Who's going to get credit for this question? I believe it was NES Tecmo. I can't find it, but it was asking about the wide receiver battle and who's showing us something at the end. Now, this isn't somebody who's at the bottom of the depth chart for wide receivers, but it is somebody who had a good game.
Oh, he did have a good game.
He had a good day. The touchdown grab was great. How much of it was Diami, Sammy, telepathic connection, but the ball was in the air. What do you want? If you're a quarterback and the ball's in the air and your receiver's in the vicinity, there's only one thing you hope he does.
It's such a cool high level route. You see that double move, and it looks like he's running that post corner, and then he brings it to the pin. I've never seen the route before. It must be a new wrinkle in the NFL. I mean, the old post corner in that red zone that goes back 40 years, but to adjust and have Sam Howell throw blindly directly at a cornerback who's on his heels,
and the guy's going to get it,
who thinks it's going to the corner, but to know a guy like Diami Brown, who I didn't realize led the nation in contested catches his senior year, and that's fantastic. But they made that play work. They got a little synchrosity, or what's it called? Something fancy.
I'm looking at you. Synchronicity. Synergy.
Synergy is the word.
They're
in sync. The synergy, when 2 together form a greater thing. They did that in college. It'd be great if that synergy could work out for Diami Brown, because he has 2 catches in 1 game. 2 touchdown catches in 1 game in 2 years. He's not the type of guy that we're going to feature, but this offense certainly spreads it out and lets many guys make plays. Kansas City in the last 5 years has had 53 games where one player has scored multiple touchdowns. Multiple times that's happened to 2 players on the same day. This offense.
Okay, so we're going to get that going, right? So
I mean, I'll just do that out there
there's
now.
9, right?
Fit.
Yeah, we're going to go with that now. EO, we gave EO Anderson. He has the question on the board.
Synergy. Thank you, Robert Cohen. Sometimes the words get stuck somewhere between my brain and my mouth, and I know why.
Synergistic.
Did I say synchronicity? I'm going to say
like
that.
it.
I'm going to say that
Absolutely.
shit again.
In
Watch.
the year one
I don't
AD,
even know
we're
what it
making up
means.
words. We get to decide everything. There's a whole brand new society in one AD.
Our synergy is off because T's not here, but our synergy is on. Yeah, we're doing all right. So.
All right, so the wide receiver question is as follows, and this is what I do have.
Yeah, throw that one up there.
Here, we did this back in like 3 weeks ago. All right, so just to give you some names, and forget about necessarily the way they're written at the moment, or don't. This is a three wide receiver, one tight end lineup. We did this right around the start of camp. Obviously, Terry, Jihan, and Curtis, your number 3. By the way, put a pin in that one. I got a thought about this for you, but forget about those 3 and forget about De'Ami Brown. That's 4. I believe, can we agree we're keeping 6 at least?
I definitely think we're keeping 6, and I definitely know who I think the 5th is.
The 5th has to be, is it a guy who's buried on this particular page?
Let me see. I wouldn't say he was buried.
Okay. So Pringle and Milne.
Pringle is one of the 53 guys in the last 5 years. It was 2 years ago. Had multiple touchdowns for the Chiefs. He's got a 40-yard touchdown. He had a bunch of plays 2 years ago in the 2021 season. Bieniemy loved him some Pringle as that 4th, 5th guy. I don't understand why that would change here. We haven't had production like that. We haven't had a 4th or a 5th guy aside from De'Ami Brown last year, catch 2.
Okay, so you have De'Ami Brown.
I think Pringle
number 1.
is cemented in as that 5th.
Is Pringle one of the 9 guys that we're looking for?
He is not, because he has never played for us.
That's what. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm getting it straight.
But
okay,
Pringle is one of the. His game was one of 53 games, including his was 2 years ago. His was one of 53 times in the last 5 years that one man scored 2 touchdowns in one game for that offense.
So that's
when they
that's crazy.
when they find a guy in that RPO, they're going to hunt him down. They're going to use him.
Yes.
They're going to turn him out. They're going to expose you. Do not show up against Eric Bieniemy with a weak link. Don't do it.
I like Casimir Allen right now better than Dax Milne. I'm not saying it's between the two of them, but if I had to choose one or the other, there's something about that 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th and 7th step of Allen's that I kind of want to see what happens when he gets the ball.
It's Tron, the linear bastard, versus Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a joke. It's a guy who fields punts versus a guy who's a threat to give your team 6 points.
Yes.
And we have been clamoring in this basement for years, almost the better part of a decade. Get us a return guy. Give us a special teams advantage besides. Yes. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Like,
get a fair catch and get us the ball back. Don't drop it.
This is like, my dad coached a lot of high school football, very conservative in special teams, just fair catch everything.
Yes. And there's a time and a place for that.
Yes, at the high school level. That's exactly where it is. You don't have enough time and enough places to practice special teams, and the season's too short and blah, blah, blah. But let this guy go. And how about for the fans? I know it's not a football decision. It's for the fans. He's exciting as shit, man.
He's everything you want to watch, and I think he's everything you need. In an era where, at least for this year, they've even gone further to legislate out kickoff returns. Well, I think teams are putting their kind of thumbs in the nose of that rule. But once the regular season hits, you're going to see it. Kickoff returns are a non-thing. Teams are going to be happy to start on the 25 and whatever. But punt returns are different, and they always will be.
Yep.
And there's nothing anyone can do about it from a rules perspective. It's a guy kicking a ball that way and another guy catching it and trying to run back. And if you've ever played backyard football, which we all have, and many people on the board have, when you catch a ball, your only thought is, I'm gonna run that way, and I'm gonna try to break tackles. I'm gonna try to make some people miss, and I'm gonna try to score a touchdown every single time. And it's that mentality that we haven't had. We had it with Brian Mitchell. We had it with Mike Nelms.
I was just going to say, everyone remembers the Mike Nelms, Brian Mitchell era, remembers how great we were and why we won games.
It's a mentality. It's not an athletic skill set so much, because all these guys are freaking fast and agile and awesome. It's like when they get the ball, they're thinking about beating 11 other guys down the field.
And our new roster turned over by Ron Rivera, has some serious, talented special teams players. We all know who Tressway is. We saw Joey Sly step up last night, and he's got a huge leg, and that's a huge step for him if he can move forward and step it up a bit from last year.
There's Voltron.
We drafted a long snapper. We have made these decisions regarding our special teams, and damn it, can we get a returner?
We're going to get a returner. And so Casimir Allen has to make this team. In my opinion, I don't know that anyone disagrees with that. Casimir Allen has to make this team. Let's see. How do I get top heavy off?
So that tells me that off. Marcus Kemp.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put this other picture up there, and we're going to talk about extra guys. So that's 6 guys before Milne, because we're going Pringle and Kaz. In addition to
that's
our 4.
That's our
first 6.
Our humble opinion here.
Yes, and then if we have to take another guy, there's a couple players. Kemp's up there, but this guy I've been watching, and I kind of am enjoying. Where are you at? Oh, there he is. Bam. All right, so there's something about this guy that I'm drawn to, and I don't know if he's going to have to be able to make.
I'm watching TV with my 10-year-old daughter.
Dear diary, Mitchell Tinsley.
I heart 86.
86. It's a good number. This is tough territory to be fighting for a spot, because I think once again
this picture is definitely in your Trapper Keeper for the first day of school on Monday.
This is a Trapper Keeper picture.
Shit.
He high points the ball as evidence in this picture. If he made the catch last night that he didn't make, that Ardarius knocked out of his hands. If he makes that catch, he makes the team. I think he's that close to making this team. But there's guys who, if they make it over him, you're not worried about it. It's going to be tough to keep him on the practice squad. I don't always know all the rules. He's a known quantity because who was he with? Was he with?
He's an undrafted free agent from Penn State.
Yep. So I think people might be willing to give him a chance based on what they've seen. Certainly Cleveland will if they listen to number 39. But you like Kemp over Tinsley. Is that true? If you had to choose,
no, that's not true.
Okay.
No. I don't. I liked having Kemp in camp as a guy that understands the offense. I just always think that's so helpful when you're out there to have an extra voice to go up to. A coach is coaching. Some guy's fired up. You can just go over to someone on the sidelines catching a quick wash and be like, yo, what did you see on this route that I didn't? What are you looking for? What's that second route? Why did you snap that off there a yard early? All the nuances, that's cool to have. Doesn't mean you make the team. Thanks for coming to camp. Take your check. And it's plenty of money for coming to camp and being a good dude.
Yes.
I just like that aspect of it. I like Tinsley. I think he's definitely a practice squad guy. He's not a huge guy with bursts. He didn't go to the combine and show up and show out, and that's how you go undrafted. So apparently, I don't know if he's such a,
Apparently I said that on the show. I was trying to get him off the screen. But go on about Tinsley.
I think top heavy. I think that's one that you might have to answer, sir. So, but go on about Tinsley, Mr. Tinsley. I'm finished. I hope you do make the team, and I don't know. Kaz Allen doesn't have to. And last night, him catching that little underneath route and showing that he can come in and produce a tad bit. If he could fill that what was it? Andre Carter? What was that? Is it that was that?
DeAndre. Was it
DeAndre Carter?
DeAndre Carter.
If he could fill that type of return, but he became more of a stud receiver. But I'm just talking about a guy that you can't use him anywhere else in special teams, so you have to use him somewhere in the framework of the offense. And if he fair catches 3 punts, do you really need him on the 53 on game day? I don't know.
Kaz Allen.
46.
Well,
but
I think if he makes the 53, because you only dress 46, so an extra wide receiver always gets scratched in that situation. So he's a guy you could keep. You would want to dress him to return punts. I mean, ultimately that's what you want. But I guess if Dax Milne is the guy that you're otherwise keeping. Let's talk about Dax Milne just for a quick second. I want to get your thoughts on this. Dax Milne is a wide receiver. Forget about his return game. As a wide receiver, if you think back to the last couple of years, he's been on the field a lot.
He's functional. He scored a couple touchdowns. He's not someone that they're going to talk a lot about in the scouting report.
No.
He's just kind of a guy, but he's fine.
I think Kaz Allen could be, if you have Pringle, Brown, and, for example, Tinsley, you could certainly get what you need from the depth of your wide receiver room without Dax Milne and get the punt returner with Kaz Allen.
Well, then let's get down to it. Is Dax Milne still dating Zach Wilson's ex? Because that's a reason to keep him.
That's a reason to keep him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love it. Please, someone on the board, let us know.
Because he's kind of a gangster. He was Zach Wilson's best friend. They were roommates. Zach Wilson went off with his mom's friend, and she went up in the arms of our punt returning wide receiver. So she's pretty spectacular, Ken. I know you don't have her on the. That's probably a good thing. But she might take over. Right now, it's just Martha on the Wags. So
it is just Martha.
I mean, I don't know if you want Martha getting any competition, but this would be a tough day for Martha. Is all I'm saying.
Well, teen moms, know better than anyone else that if you love someone, you need to set them free, and that's how I think a lot of us feel about Dax Milne and his relationship at the moment. If he, I don't know, if Dax Milne's on this team, he hasn't gotten to the status of those players that we couldn't get rid of or quit on, like Reed Doughty and some of these players that just stuck around forever.
No, he's got a bit of a Ryan Grant to him.
Yes, and Ryan Grant, he went on and played. He stays in the league.
It's good.
Dax Milne will play in the NFL this year. How about that?
But he's not. Yeah, he's just not. I don't know. He's just not our punt returner. I don't want him to be our punt returner. Go be someone's receiver, and he's just helping us out in the punt game.
He's just helping us out. It's like
anything for the team.
Pizza and beer, and come over and help us move some couches. But that's not what we want. Kevin wants hunks hauling junk. That's what you want. You want the hunks hauling junk.
No, I love that Ken Harris knows her first name. It's Abby.
Yeah, let's get it on here. It's Abby. Could be Miss February. You're talking about. So we're doing a 1AD calendar apparently, and so far it's Martha and Abby, and T with Rhett. I don't know. We'll get some surprises on this calendar, by the way.
What is the double-sided month? What is it?
The double coupon month?
No. And it's two of them, two personalities. That Aries.
When you do this, you just said the two. What are you doing?
Well, we're not getting top heavy off. I know that. So,
yes, let's keep keep your hands where you can see them above the table. How about we talk? Oh, Scotty A in the house. That's an interesting fact about Pringles. All right, I'm just gonna throw you up here. I don't know what it is. Interesting fact about Pringles: they are a potato crisp and not a potato chip. Invented in 1968, they are the fourth most popular snack after Lay's, Doritos, and Cheetos. I love it. I mean, I love.
Once you pop, you can't stop. But Doritos are my number one all time.
I love chips. I
do
trivia, and you just put them together and
Cheetos. And if the back of my pants are all orange.
So that's a strong 3, and Fritos in my lifetime has always been in my top 3, but maybe let's just say they're in my top 5. If you want to put Pringles in there,
wavy Lays with some sour cream and onion dip, nacho cheese Doritos, and Cheetos with pretty much anything. I could survive with those 3 and no other chips.
We can't get away from food conversations on this show, which I love. I think it's great.
Always starving.
So just for
Gemini,
if you bring us information like this, like Scotty A.
Thank you, Robert. And thank you, Scotty A.
We're bringing it. We're putting it on.
And Pringles is a crisp, and I've understood this. I've always wondered what else was in there, but not that often.
Here, let me. You got to. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm going to put up a picture here. I'm going to try to.
It's not Pavlov's dogs.
It's well, people watching this on their phones. Like the picture of Martha is so tiny. It works for Ken Harris because he's got the readers on. But for the most part, they don't even know it's Martha in the corner of that screen. We got the blue screen up because we're pouring some Bushmills Black Bush. All right, so here's my last picture, and it goes with the following caveat: game balls, and we're gonna when we talk about game balls, let's just get the team mom out of here. The game balls, there'll be time enough for game balls to go to star quarterbacks, stud defensive standouts, skilled offensive stalwarts. That time is coming. It's going to start in September, and it's going to be great. But I won't pretend to know that the struggle of guys trying to make this league in July and August, it must be grueling. Now they are paid well, and it's great for them, but it is an absolute dogfight. And in the dog days of July and August, just putting yourself in harm's way to chase your dream. And this guy who I'm about to throw up there, this guy has shown up for us in recent seasons, especially last year, in a time when we needed to have a guy because we were down guys, and he showed up, and he probably thinks or thought or at some point no one knew who he was, just a name on a depth chart, just a number in a numbers game. And he comes back this season, and there's more guys at his position, including guys who come with higher pedigree and are paid more money. And so how do you make a team in one AD? And this guy last night showed the world exactly how you do it. He fought in a way that is it does his name, proud. And it's not Mitchell Tinsley. We're going to get rid of Mitchell Tinsley. And it's this guy. And I just love him. And I just want to talk about him. James Smith-Williams. He's not a heralded guy. He's just a big, strong, freak athlete guy who's come on the field and done some good stuff for us. He's absolutely made plays for us, in wins and losses. But last night, running down the field and getting to the goal line and knocking that punt out, I was shocked when I saw that it was 96 that did that. He beat everybody down the field, and he with ballerina inside the 5-yard line to make sure that he was not in foul territory. He just did his name proud. He earned a spot. He's already earned a spot on this team, but the manner in which he fills the nooks and crannies of what it takes to be a good football team, number 96. To me, he is an absolute endearing presence. In this new era, he made something super fun last night, and he did it in like the most workmanlike fashion. I want to toast James Smith-Williams. He's going to be on our team this year. And
no doubt.
He's not going to be a star. He's not going to the Pro Bowl by any stretch.
He's a great glue guy to have. I appreciate his presence. These are the guys that made the old Redskins fantastic. The glue guys, the role guys that understood their role and played it. I don't know if we've had a ton of that here in the last decade to two, but he certainly is one of those guys. And hey, look, dude, he looks the role. But guys like KJ Harris and Andre Jones and people that are looking up to a guy like this, he's not one of these guys that's about to make $150 million.
No,
but this dude's going to have a long career in this league. He's always going to be on someone's team. He seems like the type of guy that'll always be in the NFC East. Hopefully it's for us,
because people know, people watch him.
Yeah.
She keeps sneaking up on us. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
My shoulder, and
we're gonna leave her there for a little bit.
The temperature's getting hotter in there.
That to me, you can't have a good team without guys like that. You just can't. And it just like one play, just put it all out there of who he is and what he's all about and what he can do for us. It's NES. It's Smith-Williams, not William Smith. Just for the record, that is a fact. Troy Ackby was another example of a Reed Dowdy type that we had on our team forever. Any others the board can throw in there at will. Those were the pictures I had for us to go over tonight.
All right. Well, I got one guy.
Let's go.
My positive I came in here with. Since coaching my whole life, I've coached quarterbacks and receivers, and it's way more fun to coach receivers. I love coaching receivers because I can teach it, but I can't do that stuff. I can't explode out of a cut, but I can teach it, and I love teaching it to kids that can. It's awesome. I mean, quarterbacks, there's a million different ways to do it, and a million different kids that do it differently. It's all great, but coaching these receivers, it's you get to teach them that as a quarterback, the science, the art of running routes is absolutely, it's an art and it's a craft. And there's a guy on our team that's going into his second season.
No, not him. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's JD.
Jihan Dotson is an elite route runner in this league right now. I know it was against a second-team safety corner last night. Did you see the separation? You never, ever, ever see some dude 8 to 10 yards off of a guy on just a simple stop route. He is a wizard with it. His feet are spectacular. This is something I've done for a long time, and I just do it because I have a passion for it. I'm not saying I'm any good at it. I'm just saying I like it. And watching him do it, I giggle. It's unfreaking believable, the level of athleticism and the amount of hours he's put into his craft. This is a guy that's going to be effing wide open for a long time in this league unless he's dinged up. For the next 5 years and the next 3 for us, +4, baby. He is going to be someone so special in an offense like this. And last night watching it and going, oh my God, we really have something on our hands here in this second year guy. This guy is somebody that has still maintained an under the radar status, especially on a national level, even though he led the NFL, tied for the lead in rookie touchdown receptions.
He's everything you want in a first-round wide receiver.
He really is. The separation, and I know maybe you want a bigger guy, but in this league right now, it's all about space,
it's production,
spatial awareness, and creating space.
Yes,
and especially for a quarterback who's only started one game.
Get off me.
Get away from me. You know where to find me. Yes. You know where to find Terry. And if we have one or two more guys that are that efficient in their route running game, the skill, the art of running a route. And that's why last year you see in the intermediary game, Jihan Dotson, about 3 or 4 of his 7 touchdowns at least were in the 15 to 25 yard range.
Yes.
This is where he can be. Now I get it. You're down in there in the 3 yard line and everything is squeezed and that's a different place. But that's a guy when we're in the red zone or right outside, what do they call it now? The purple zone, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. That's where he becomes a major factor. And man, when you got a guy like Terry McLaurin, he's going to be just fine. Everything really opens up. And I'm telling you, Jihan Dotson's about to have himself a year.
I hope so. I'm highly invested in some dynasty scenarios. We talked about, I threw his picture up. I'll just throw it up again. We talked about, we can't not talk about this guy. He looked great, and it was great to see. Yeah, I like the point that Troy Aikman made because I think Joe Buck or someone made it. Said, why is he playing? Blah blah blah. No one's asking that.
Shut up, Joe.
No one's asking. No one cares. Terry McLaurin and Sam Howell. This is important time. This is like second, third date type stuff. You gotta get there.
This particular night was.
Yes, and it was.
I agree. It was. And I typically don't. Of course, it was.
Yes, and so it was. They were meaningful snaps. Terry McLaurin had a great. Showing and MRIs and X-rays and blah 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 are all goodies day to day, which means I hope that they get a big lazy boy chair and say, please sit in this chair until September 9th and do not leave it. So that's. But let me. There's. I didn't do a picture of him. There is a. She just sneaks in. She's not sneaking. It's like a program.
I feel her hot breath on my neck.
She's just.
I hope that's breath.
What? All right. So if we fancy ourselves like halfway smart, like halfway clever, halfway, or like our coaches are like, we're going to try to get there in the preseason without letting everyone know where there is for us. And there's a guy who, if he's fully healthy, you can see him fitting into a variety of spots that Eric Bieniemy's offense requires, like that Jerick McKinnon type, and even the Travis Kelce, some of the Travis Kelce positioning, pre-snap positioning. If Curtis Samuel is fully healthy, like he's either been hidden for a preseason, or he just hasn't been or he's not fully healthy, or he ultimately won't be a huge priority. He's in a contract year. If he's fully healthy, he has the wiggle to do some of the things that Jerick McKinnon did. I know everyone, the popular thing to say is that Antonio Gibson is going to get a lot of that, look. But Curtis Samuel has the ability to do a lot of what Jerick McKinnon did for Kansas City, and he hasn't been given a ton of that in the preseason. Now, there's only 3 games, and there's really only 1.5 or 2 where you're going to even possibly see a guy like Curtis Samuel, and there's really like only 2 or 3 quarters in those games, blah, blah, blah. But we have done this before. No one saw Terry McLaurin in the preseason for his entire preseason of his rookie year when we had an offense. There are guys. It is done.
Then he exploded onto the scene for 2 touchdowns in his first start.
Yes,
and everyone's like, "What the shit?"
Maybe they're gonna target this guy. So I'm not saying that Curtis Samuel we're hiding him because he's going to be some secret weapon. But I will say there's a possibility. He's certainly talented enough to do those things. And if he's healthy and fully healthy enough to perform that role, he's more than capable of it.
Here's what I'll agree with you with.
All right. I'll take it.
He's certainly capable of it. And he's certainly been a secret.
He's a secret, exactly.
I'm like, hold on. Like, We haven't heard one thing.
Not
we haven't
one.
heard one comment.
Not one.
You know, I think he had one touch last night, or maybe two. I don't know. He had one or two. I have no idea.
None.
I have no idea. My two biggest worries about this offense right now, out of our weaponry, is old man Cavi. August 4th with an old man. Like, I have no confidence in Logan right now.
No, how could you?
And it's just his health. It's not his ability to play the game. The guy was a freaking freak. He morphs from a quarterback to a tight end. Who's that type of athlete? Nothing but respect, but that body has been breaking down at a
he's
rapid
an aged
rate.
veteran.
And when a dude with all those other things gets a calf, that's almost like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that's when
that's a lot of calf.
We all know around here that's not a good thing.
A huge calf.
It's not a good thing. Jason whatchamacallit comes in here and calves us out, and we've been calved. We've been injured by everything.
We've been calved,
but we've been calved before. And hey, Curtis Samuel, I hope, and he ain't going to be here next year. I don't think, unless he's, because if the secret weapon is in a contract year and he still hasn't got, I don't see why. Doesn't he seem like someone that would really, really work in this type of multiple offense with his?
If you have Terry, if you have Jihan, if you like Diami, if you like Kaz, if you like some of these guys, then really, I mean,
Tyreek, Kelsey, McCole, Sammy Watkins, all in the same season. In the first 5 weeks, scored 2 touchdowns in this offense.
Yeah,
so there's plenty of room to get touches.
If people are holding their hands out for a lot of money, they're probably not going to get it at the end of that line. But you could, just looking down the road and into the crystal ball, you could see a scenario where the front office has a choice between paying a Curtis Samuel or an Antonio Gibson, and that could be if I had to choose now, I'd take AG.
I don't think either of them.
I understand. I'm just saying either or.
Between them, I'm taking Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, but you're right. And if someone's willing to pay them more than we would be paying them to be our 4th or 5th skill weapon on our roster, then more power to them. That's what happens. That's how that's the nature of the game. All right. Well,
don't forget Milo Eifler is Milo. That's one thing I took from that. Milo. He's now Milo Eifler.
Okay.
So
let's just
remember. In case you see him on the mean streets of Kensington tomorrow.
Let's keep that in
over
mind.
At Donut
everybody
King
out there.
or at I don't know, Mizell Station, whatever.
I don't even want to talk negatives. Really, there's no. It's preseason. Everything that didn't happen needs to be fixed. How about that? Fix it. And we'll let them work on that. There was just too much fun to talk about in terms of week 2 in the preseason. Let's say, okay, here's a question from Ken Harris. I'm gonna put it on the board, and I'm gonna morph the question a little bit. Can Jamin Davis become a major contributor? Yes or no?
Of course he can. If he plays as fast as he drives, he's going to be just fine. And that's a terrible take. Yes. But you know what? Get this shit out of your head. Start playing football again. You were coming on last year, and it's like he's not taking this very well. Now, to be fair, no D-line and no secondary last night is going to expose them dudes in the middle. I'm not worried about it. Barton was flying around. Davis showed some speed. Of course he can.
Yes, he can. But
he's got to do it.
A lot of our defensive guys didn't play last night. None of our defensive linemen, which I love. I don't care. I don't want to. As much as I wanted to beat Baltimore, not at the expense of playing Jonathan Allen, who's been basically playing every practice like it's a Super Bowl, which you wouldn't expect anything less. And he's dog tired and worn out and dinged up, and it's like, let that man rest.
He's different. He's a workhorse.
Yeah, you can't. There's no half speed for guys like that.
The best guys to coach in the world are the guys that you have to settle their ass down or get them up.
Get them off the field.
You're ruining offensive practice. Go sit somewhere. Just get the hell out of here.
Here's a PS5. You've
play
for
heard that
5
story
hours.
Told about so many elite defenders, and that makes him such a stud, and I love that about him.
I mean, you can't be the team that says we're going to rest Jonathan Allen against the Cardinals. Obviously, you can't do that. But
we can't rest anybody against anybody.
We're not resting anyone against anyone.
This whole Cardinals thing is starting to freak me out.
No one should do anything. We're going to beat the Cardinals so badly. We're going to beat the Cardinals so badly. The 18 days. Where's my countdown? Let's get some countdown going here. Countdown, right there it is. Let's get Ken Harris. We'll drop him off. 18 days, 15 hours till week 1. I thought that last night was a momentum builder. Why it matters? Why does it matter that we won the game? It's not even that it matters that we won the game. Why does the game matter? The game matters because, Sam Howell had to have gained confidence in what he did last night. The offensive line had to have gained confidence in what they
as
did
a
last
unit,
night.
and that's where we
Yes.
have to focus.
Yes.
And
Terry McLaurin gave him that confidence.
Without Charles Leno, and that was great, and he did, and the O-line played formidable, and as a unit, they can improve. That's what happens to good teams, solid teams with great coaching,
Yes.
and you hope that happens to us. I understand it is a major question, still is, but they played great last night. They really did. They showed that they can compete. And from what I understand from everyone that we trust that's been to practice this whole week, and the guys we trust that we read their articles, the line of scrimmage was controlled
Yes.
by the DC boys, not them Baltimore
All
boys.
week.
All week
long.
And that's a big deal because Baltimore has made their entire franchise around dominating and controlling the line of scrimmage, and they've been great at it. The front side and the back end, that secondary and that D-line, all you got to do is put a Hall of Fame linebacker there and watch that Tampa 2 go to work. And listen, we competed our asses off and fought, and I love it. Because the week before, and we always know this O-line has been a question, but I think as a unit is where this O-line should be judged, not individually, because they've got to learn to communicate and figure it all out. Sometimes you see Andrew Wiley getting beat to the inside, and that's the number one rule as an offensive lineman, never get beat to the inside. You don't think Andrew Wiley knows that more than we all do?
Oh, yeah.
And we're all watching like, this guy sucks. Well, guess what? Maybe he's looking for some help down there. Maybe there's a communications error. It could have been 9,000 things, not just Andrew Wiley sucks. Andrew Wiley's got a Super Bowl ring on. Is he a tremendous athlete in a one-on-one scenario? Not the greatest, but you know who the best athletes in the world are? They're the D linemen. O linemen are way less better athletes than D linemen. That's a fact. We already know that.
They're going to war as a 5-man unit.
D linemen are incredibly better athletes than O linemen. That's why they're D linemen.
That's why you want big, fat, fighter. Just absolute.
Well, this is a fighter, and he's come out on the right side of a lot of big
Yes.
effing games against a lot of badass dudes, and I like going to war with him, and I'll take what we got right now because it's all we got. There's no complaining at this point. Let's get better. Let's shock this freaking mediocre-ass league. It's the greatest league of sports in the world, but there's not that much separation. There's about 5 teams that I would say, all right, and anyone else, come on. I don't think any starters are playing.
No starters are playing.
You can't come off a Monday night game into a Saturday and play the same guys that started. So I'm telling you right now,
This is a game of this is the old school 4th preseason game. It's played primarily by guys who won't be in the league in a week, and there's a couple of guys like a guy like Chris Rodriguez. He's going to get this. Hopefully, he's going to get the start at running back.
That's a great point.
Do some good things. He's going to make the team. A lot of offensive linemen who won't. A lot of defensive players who won't. But let them go at it. This is it. And show our depth. Our depth.
Got to. I think we have a solid 40, and there's 13 decisions out there, of which I think 10 of them are pretty solid. But let's go find out. And a guy like Jacoby Brissett, a guy like Chris Rodriguez, they're going to be chomping at the bit in the next 4 days to get out there and show the whole world. Listen, everyone's psyched about the burgundy and gold. We're doing great. Not so much us individually. And they're going to be in the lab getting to work and checking out film and watching what the hell they did wrong. Chris Rodriguez is going to be going through that gauntlet, making sure that ball doesn't pop out. Let's be honest. Jacoby Brissett looked like shit. That was the worst part of our night to me. Jacoby Brissett looked all out of whack. I'm not certain if it's comfortability with everything. But listen, he's a veteran. He's started many in an NFL game. I'm not worried about him overall. It wasn't his best showing. He needs to show out this week. Just be a little more comfortable and show why we gave him a little over $8 million to come in here and be Sam Howell's backup.
If he has to come in, in the middle of a game, God forbid, then at least you got a guy who's seen live bullets before, and that's always going to be a strength of a backup quarterback. And he's not getting cut. Everybody, like, we're not cutting Jacoby.
Oh
Brissett,
no.
I mean, now that you're not saying that. But
it would cost us.
He's staying. He's on our team this year. And you know what? The truth of the matter is, it's just the stark comparison of Sam Howell versus Jacoby Brissett / Jake Fromm. How many years have we been in July and August and we've seen 1A and 1B, which for most teams is really like 2A and 2B, and you're trying to split hairs between mediocre and slightly above average. Sam Howell played like a franchise quarterback last night. Now, it's preseason, and we'll see if it can carry into the season. But he played like it. He showed that he is capable of running this offense and getting the ball to talented, skilled players.
What we got to see
That's
from him
awesome.
yesterday was what style of ball he plays, and that he can make plays in the pocket. He can make plays in the short passing game. He can throw the deep ball. We saw the intermediate, the holes that he found, off schedule, outside the pocket. He's going to run tough as nails, Ken. You were like,
Yep.
I love the way you finished that run. Of course I love that shit, but I want him to not do that right now.
I know. But
There's
that's
a fine line.
That's the guy you love coaching. You don't turn it off. There is
You can't.
no ratchet down.
No, that's the coach talking. That's the.
'Cause
I'm trying to preserve him for the season because I can't wait to watch the $1 million man just f up everybody that makes so much more than he
Kevin,
does.
here's the thing about that run in particular, and I want to get to this comment by Greg Martin here in a second. But here's the thing about that run that Sam made in that moment. So many times, quarterbacks in this league get hit like that, and nowadays they're so big. The guys are just they're 6'5", 6'6" giant men, and if they get hit, they don't necessarily get knocked over like a lot of guys would, and they turn back upfield. And you and I both know from watching a million hours of football and seeing a guy in a precarious spot, and the next time some person hits him, he's probably going to get knocked 35 yards the wrong way because he's just in like an awkward whatever position. But there's some guys who, when they turn up, they get hit and they turn upfield, they're not just ready for the next hit, they're looking for the next hit. And Sam Howell that's the guy he is. He took that hit and he was immediately ready for the next moment of contact. And so from a base level, you're not worried about his safety. You're thinking to yourself, here's a guy who's always protecting himself because he's always prepared to be physical. I know we don't want to see him take those hits, but that is part of who he is. And I freaking loved I loved it. I mean, I loved it.
There's no other way to play the position at the high school level, a little bit at the college level.
I understand
he brings that. No. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying because I freaking adore it. I would like him to save it for the regular season. That is it.
Fair enough.
That is all. I would never stop him from being him. And as he evolves as a quarterback, he's going to be taught, and especially right before he signs the dotted line for a lot more than $1 million a year in the next 3 years, he'll understand business decisions have to be made. And he'll be the first one to lower his shoulder and crush into anyone for a first down in a regular season game, a playoff scenario, especially in the heat of the battle. That's what we freaking love about him. And
he's thick. He's thick.
I'm looking in the camera right now. There will be multiple times this year, Ken, that you and I will watch him run someone's ass over in a scenario that just really means the world. Might be in the second quarter, might be in the third quarter, but just a big-time momentum-changing game.
Over a corner.
The same way Heineke had that ability to get everyone on that side. You wait and see. When we have our first say, what in the hell did he just do? Oh, my God. And we had a little bit of it last year when he had that end zone run, when he went on that angle.
And he cut back inside.
And cut back in.
Because
when you're not supposed to be there, where the bad guys are coming downhill, moving at 4.5.
You're just waiting for it. You're just waiting for it. You're
collision. But here's the deal. He's gifted. His feet are gifted. He could have played running back at a lower college level. He absolutely
He essentially was
a
running back in a Power 5.
I know.
Just with getting direct
Almost
snaps.
800 yards rushing, and he did it with physicality. He wasn't just dancing around. He's got both. He's got a really exciting package. We've got a guy here, man.
He does have an exciting package.
Let's not say that. Well played.
EO, crop it, clap it, freeze it, frame it, tweet it, exit.
I thought it was smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Wax it up and floss it down. I don't know whatever it is. Just make it happen. He is
when he brings
the kind
us
of
that
guy
moment
that you want.
Oh yes, no, don't. I don't want that to be taken away.
Yeah.
That point you made is the most important thing, and I love it. I was just being nervous about him doing it before we even get Arizona. That's all.
I've come to learn, and you learned this decades ago. I've come to learn that there are there's some people who are like born to program for computers. There are some people who are just born to be a professional banker. There was just people who were born. He was like, there's some people
that sucks for both of those people
who were born to absorb physical force. Just like over the course of a lifetime, just like a body designed to be physical. He's thick. He's muscular. He's
just only use 3 more adjectives because it's
three
going to
more.
get creepy.
Okay.
It was about to be 11.
I'm going to sprinkle him in. It
He's
was
thick,
about to
muscular.
be 11. It was about to be 11. Is it hot in here? Is it red in here?
He doesn't sweat much for a hot guy.
For a hot guy, it's just like almost no sweat lines. Almost no sweat lines, but except for the ones you want to see.
The one thing we haven't talked about when you're fan, go right ahead.
You don't want to be worried about a
Go right
fragile.
ahead.
You don't want fragility. We have fragility.
He's not.
He's not Curtis Samuel. He's not Tony Romo even. He's a big, strong, physical player. All right, I've left Greg on the board the whole time. We're gonna go with wide receiver, running back, O lineman, D lineman. We're going to take turns. I'm gonna go first because we already talked about wide receiver. So last wide receiver, I'm gonna say Mitchell Tinsley. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Last running back.
All right, and I said Kaz Allen for the last one. So the last running back is brutal. I mean, Alex Armagh catching there's the first pass action I've seen. He did not get a chance to turn up the field.
Nope.
I think it was about a half-second delay on the getting rid of it.
Classic.
And
Ravens
another half-second delay for
preseason
him
play.
not turning his neck and his head. He's going to be gone. But, yo, man, Jarrett Patterson, our dude, our local cat that's always been a badass, has been on the team for 2 years, making that play. Making that play. No, I'm just saying, I want to get the cast of characters up here because, dude, there's 6 guys.
Yep.
There's
Jonathan
6
Williams,
guys.
I think it's safe to say we're going to let him move.
I think so, too. I think he's got to go. I think last night showed that they were trying to get serious. Did you see who they're trying to get the ball to over and over and over? 2 years ago, he had a 51-yard touchdown run for the Kansas City Chiefs within the framework of that offense. He's a dude that's got to be sniffed at. And meanwhile, Chris Rodriguez is in. So there's 3.
He's in.
So there's 3. There's 3 solid locks. So my number 4 guy. Oh, Jesus. I don't even want to say it.
You don't even want to say it?
No, because it means my man Jarrett Patterson.
So we're keeping 3, is what you're saying.
I think we're keeping 4.
And the 4th is?
It's not Jarrett Patterson.
It's Jonathan Williams.
No.
Alex Armagh?
No.
It's just
our Kansas City Chief.
Okay. I'm down with that. Oh, we might have a Rhett showing, but we'll see if that happens.
I think we can smell him coming if he was coming.
O lineman, the last O lineman. So give me a number. How many O linemen are we keeping?
All right, I think there's a solid 10, and I think
who's number 10?
I think Tyler Larson.
I'm okay. I'm okay co-signing on Tyler Larson.
There's no reason because I'm just saying, listen, we're going to stick with our we know who our starting 5 is. Chris Paul, I don't think he's going anywhere on a rookie deal. We know we got Ricky Stromberg sitting there at center. Great, but Tyler can play both guard spots.
We're not cutting Braden Daniels.
And
yet.
No chance we're cutting Braden. Cornelius and Braden are locked in the backups.
Yep.
You got, with Cosme's backup.
Ricky's making the team.
Gates and Stromberg right there. So I think that it just turns out to be it's going to come down between Tyler Larson and a guard that I don't know about having a great camp. And I think Rivera's a Tyler Larson guy, and he's the type of guy you'd like to be around. You're Braden Daniels. Obviously, you're Ricky Stromberg at the center position. And I believe Tyler Larson's my pick for that last.
Where are we at? We were here. So you're talking about Stromberg, Braden Daniels all making it. No Nolan Laufenberg, no Jared Jones-Smith, Mason Brooks, Keaton Sutherland, Trent Scott. These are names that are going to be in the history books for some sports. We're going to go back here. The D lineman, the last D. So I love talking about our D lineman situation. I mean, let me just throw out. I don't know if he's the last guy or not, but James Smith-Williams, he's making this team. He's right there, at the bottom of our depth of our D lineman.
I believe the speed rush, the hair flow, the burst, the quickness, Benning Patoae is the last D lineman to make it. Last night he looked like he was flying around. And I know that we've got a little flexibility there because Bada does not count against us in our 53, which is not Obata. F.A.
Bada.
David Bada. He's been on the injured list. He's always going to give us the chance to have an extra guy. Yep. He's one of I think he's from England or wherever the hell he's from. He's in the NFL. He's in one of them projectable things that I can't think of.
He's
at
a
this hour.
big, strong
but
guy.
But he does not count against us, and I know that Man, we're loaded back there, though, man. We are freaking loaded. I'm not saying there's so many different roles on this roster for these D linemen. I don't know how many we can keep.
I
think it's in the 10 range.
I love, if you talk about 53-man roster, to have anywhere from 38 to 40% is just big, strong, fat dudes that are going to play right in the heart of the battle, right at the line of scrimmage in the trenches. What do you got?
No, big, strong, fat dudes.
Big, strong, fat dudes. Sorry, this show has a very
wait,
a
is she a
wide
great
demo.
big fat person?
Let's see. I thought I took this.
So what do we got? Maybe it's a DB is going to be tough, but
DB, last DB.
All right.
Well, let's talk about locks.
Danny Johnson, I think, is a lock at
Danny Johnson.
5.
And how is he? Do we know?
I have
Just
no
a
idea.
rotator
I have
cuff
no
injury?
idea. I don't know.
Let's just
I
assume
don't
he's fine.
know.
So we have
I'm
Fuller,
assuming
St.
he's fine.
Just, Forbes, Quan, Danny Johnson. That's 5.
So that right there is it now.
I think that's
Castro Fields. Is there another Fields? There's so many Fields.
how many fields are there? Is that number 24?
Fields.
The other number
Castro
24.
Fields made a bad play last night, and I was like, dude, I think he's Jihan Dotson's best friend. For some reason, I think that might help. I don't know.
It does. It always
seems cool,
does.
right? I don't know. It seems
But
like
I
he's a
think
good
so.
guy.
We have 5 corners that
Wild
we like.
Goose was fighting for his ass off for that
Yeah.
6th spot. God damn it!
When we have so many safety corner hybrid, like when you throw in the Reeves, Curls,
but-
Defoe, Reeves.
We got
Curl.
4 safeties, I think, and then
Yeah.
whatever the hell Apke is or whatever we want to do with Apke.
If we keep Apke,
well, I'm
he
saying
officially
that's-
gets the Reed
that's-
Dowdy Award.
No, but that's a guy right there. That's a guy.
It's a guy. It is a guy.
He's a guy that.
Yes, Robert Cohen, the international player, still get an exemption.
you.
It's COVID.
Robert Cohen's been helping
COVID
me out all
eligibility.
night. It's been a long day. We're in training camp with the kids. School started. Robert Cohen, my brain's not working, and you've been my
Henry
ace.
and Jones.
The synergy between Robert Cohen and this podcast tonight has been freaking nuts, and that's because he's been helping out a ton.
Where's he at? This is his best comment of the night. He is thick and has an exciting package. That's what Rob.
I couldn't remember. I said to Kansas, it's Derek Gore who I've been struggling with, who looked a little juicy last night. He had some burst, he had some go, and they kept giving it to him. They kind of want to see what he's got, and I know that Bieniemy knows he could rest on him for a couple years there in KC, and we'll see. I hope. How about the play Jared Patterson made to stay in bounds and duck under attack?
I thought for sure he stepped out.
I did too.
I
When they
feel like I
reviewed it,
pride
knew it.
myself on knowing, like, in real time, and I didn't.
Oh, I don't pride myself because I can't see shit.
I know it freaks me out,
No.
but I
kinda like it
trust
that
your,
way.
but I trust your eyes.
No, if I
trust him.
The less I know, the better.
I know, and it's generally a good guide because you see things so much closer to us, so that's what you're focused on. Sometimes if you have better eyesight, you're looking at that stuff too far away, and you're not focusing on what really matters.
But the good thing is you
right
can
in here.
feel some of the stuff if you've been around long enough. And when I'm sitting with these guys doing a high school football game from about 100 yards away,
Yeah.
I am on my device, which is the monitor placed directly in front of me. and I know I'm missing all this gorgeous action, but I can't see shit.
It looks great. I can't believe you don't have. I'm prescribing you glasses. All right, listen. We've been doing this now for quite some time tonight. An hour and 20 minutes. We appreciate all of your.
You guys are the best.
Time on Tuesday, and we'll be back next Tuesday. We're going to talk about the roster as it is at that moment. We're going to talk about the week 1 because that's where we're going to be getting ready for. Next week will be what's today? The 22nd. So next week will be the 29th. So we'll be following that up with a regular season game.
And it's the 29th is Cuts Day.
Yeah. So we're going to
At
know a lot of
4
stuff.
o'clock next Tuesday, we will all know a shit ton more about all of this. It's coming.
We'll have it on the screen. We'll be
It's
able
up.
to show you everything.
Before we get here, the decisions will have been made. Real quick, any chance of any last-second acquisitions pre the 29th? Because you kind of like to see what happens post 29th.
So okay. So we've been talking about it all summer long.
We have. And I keep saying we're not done yet, but
we have
apparently
some space. So there's 2 options we have. From if you're just looking at like straight binary that either you add or you don't add. The cool thing is you can roll money. That was never a thing, that you can roll money forward. And we already have a shit ton of money for next year, but it is enticing to increase your ability, your spending.
By about
ability.
15 mil?
Yeah.
Roll it?
That's a possibility.
I'd like to blow on 15 mil and let it ride. Daddy needs a new pair of
The other thing you could
matching
do
condos.
if you feel good about yourself, and I don't know if we're justified just quite yet in like entering a season being like just Norman Daling and be like, my team's on the floor.
Oh no, we're not.
But if you were,
Because you can't be. But
I understand.
Go ahead.
If you were to be that guy,
gotcha.
you could use some money to go look at your guys who are coming up for some contracts. And
Cam Curl.
Cam Curl. Exactly. You could spend some of that money this year to lock a guy up for the next 3 or 4 plus years. Kevin, how many guys do we have locked up for 4 years past this? 4?
4
guys.
Our cornerstones.
4 guys. So if you have some money to spend and you don't love anyone out there that you think, and I don't know if we do or don't, but that money could be used to proactively lock somebody up on our roster right this very second who's in their early 20s and making a difference for our team. All I'm saying is that's a move you could make.
I like it. And by the way, now we can make it because Josh Harris is on board and can sign off on it. And we've been kind of handcuffed, I think.
I'm not talking about Montez or Chase.
No. I know.
I'm talking about guys you just want to you want to keep on your team.
Cam
for a while.
Curl's not getting that. At his position, he's not getting that Montez Chase money.
No.
And by the way, it's a tough time to be in a contract year, but we love this guy before we get into it. And let's see what he does.
He's good.
He's real good.
He's good.
We've
He's a good
loved him
football
from
player.
day one. We said when we got him in the 7th round out of Arkansas, and he was a freshman starting cornerback in the SEC, and he competed his ass off. He's a guy, man, and
he is,
and he's a guy that's going to have a hell of a year this year.
And he's also the kind of guy. So if you assume, I mean, you make assumptions, or the guy like Kendall Fuller's probably not coming back after this year. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Who knows we're gonna have a ton of money. I don't know how it works out, but he's certainly not going to be our big money expenditure.
He's not going to be anybody's big money expenditure.
So if you're looking to add guys to a defensive secondary and you're looking to churn it up, and again, this is what I said it last week and 2 weeks ago. This is what Kansas City did the last 2 years. They brought in like 8 new guys, all of which have somehow made a difference, and they've whittled it down, and they found their secondary, you wouldn't be able to pick them out of a lineup for the most part, and they got it done. So you just keep chipping away at your secondary and finding, and you fill in the holes the best way you can. If you want to add a guy, I know a professional corner wants to come to a place, and he's looking at 2 things. He wants to know who are the down linemen playing, rushing the passer, giving me a chance, and who
else is back here,
and who's back behind me.
Right.
And if you go to him and you say, listen, we're willing to bring you in for a 4-year deal, 5-year deal, we're going to give you a ton of money, and you got Cam Curl playing behind you, and you got Allen and Payne and Sweat and Young playing in front.
Hey,
and
you
that's
seen this young boy Forbes? You seen young Forbes do
Yeah.
it, and what St. Juice has been doing up
Yeah.
here, beating dudes down a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah, and guess what? We got more draft picks and so much money next year too. We've put ourselves in a position.
1 AD.
We've put ourselves in a position
It
to
all
escape
starts now.
from underneath this tiny, club-footed, miniature-legged bastard. Sorry.
1 AD. We're gonna be back next week. It'll still be 1 AD. It's just a week, and 1 AD is a whole year. We don't get ahead of yourselves.
Some people were wondering if it was 0 AD, but whatever.
I know it's hard. It has to be 1 because 0 no one wants to be 0.
No, that's on the license plate of the barge traveling out of Potomac River, heading into international waters, carrying the biggest pile of shit on it in the history of the Chesapeake Bay. That's all.
Captain
Turd Swaggler.
The old
I knew that
Turd
was coming.
Swaggler.
I knew that was
I think
coming.
Turd Swaggler will stick. We're
That's
going
a
to figure
good
out
one.
which way, how to frame it up, cut the bangs and then give it a good look. But Turd Swaggler's happening. We knew it had to be Turd. T brought Swaggler, and those two marry up nicely. We're back in 7 days. We got T Strack.
T's back in 7
Back in the
days.
basement in 7 days. We got a team to talk about in 7 days. We got a game, a professional football game to talk about in 7 days. It's all happening, and it's all good. He's Kevin Ricca.
Hey, thank you guys always. It's been another great night. It's always so much fun. Let's keep it rolling next week. This is the most exciting time of the year for all of us. Let's do it together, fellas.
I'm Ken Marangolo. This was Thank God It's Tuesday. Subscribe to First Amendment Sports. Give us a like. Thanks for your time. We'll be back in 1 week.
Thanks, guys.
We're still live. We have to go to the.
I get caught looking at the screen, the camera, this big white balloon.
T wondered how long Martha staying power would be.
Yeah, he's right. She was up there the whole time, just brewing, just making. Like I feel like we've spent a lot of time together, but I want to eat some of her shit. Like she makes deliciousness, and she's just sitting here in a
Her
big
food shit. Her food shit.
I don't want to.
Food.
Well, her food shit, obviously.
We're talking
That's
about food.
disgusting.
Food.
You can't do a zoom in on a pair of 90-year-old boobs and then say it's food shit.
It's food shit. All right. We'll see you in 7 days.
We're live.